Board of Trustees of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District is now convened in a regular meeting on Monday, January 22nd, 2018, in the boardroom of the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District's Instructional Support Center, 10300 Jones Road, Houston, Texas, at 6 p.m. I want to welcome the members of our audience and our television viewers to the meeting of the Board of Trustees. As the Cypress-Fairbanks Board of Trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to reports from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the district are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve issues and concerns. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees and not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on tonight's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session and to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by sections 551.071 through 551.084 of the Texas Government Code. These meetings are airing live on CFTV, Channel 16, and CFTV online on the district website. They will also be rebroadcast throughout the month on Channel 16 and available as video on demand on the website. For the tape to adequately reflect the proceedings, I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking the time to join us this evening and for your interest in the Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District. I would like to also take this opportunity to recognize our community leadership committee members and Boy Scouts who are in attendance this evening. And we have Julie Heineman. Would you please stand? Leslie Martone, Marlene Laberett, Stacy Anderson, Chuck Brandman, Tom Pickford, Danica Smithwith, and George Edwards. Would you please stand? Let's applaud these awesome citizens. And we have a Boy Scout from Troop 1283 with us tonight, who his name is Adrian Briggs. I believe that's, if I read this right. Well, stand up, Adrian. Good. Glad to have you. Please stand and join me for an invocation and the presentation of colors and the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be given by Pastor Rodson Cardoso. Pastor Cardoso is the associate pastor of the Cypress United Methodist Church, which has over 2,000 members. He is the leader of their Spanish ministry and has been pastoring for over 20 years. He is an author, teacher, speaker, role model, and mentor for many of our students. And he has two daughters, and both are graduates of Cyfair High School. His church has adopted Adam and Millsap Elementaries, where they do a great job of supporting students and staff. Cypress Springs High School, Junior ROTC cadets will be presenting our flag and Pledge of Allegiance, and they are Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Joseph Ostrovich and Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Yismit Perez, Cadet Captain Silati Flores, and Cadet Second Lieutenant Dylan Labotai. Sponsor is Chief Master Sergeant Michael Garif Arlo. And please forgive me if I butchered your names.
Let's pray. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for all your blessings, for the successful outcome of our school events, and for all our staff members, both the teaching and the support members. We ask that you bless them abundantly, and we continue to seek your wisdom, guidance, courage, and strength. Be with us in our deliberations and help us to be wise in the decisions we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Dear Lord, grant us the humility to always seek your will in all that we do and say. All glory be to you, loving God, now and always. Deus amoroso y misericordioso, de hecho eres el dador de todos los buenos dones y te agradecemos hoy por todas tus bendiciones, por los resultados exitosos de nuestros eventos escolares y de todos los miembros de nuestro personal, tanto docentes como de apoyo. Les pedimos que los bendigan abundantemente y continuamos buscando la sabiduría, guía, valor y fortaleza, acompañándonos en nuestras deliberaciones y ayudándonos a ser sabios en las decisiones que tomamos para el bien de todos aquellos que han depositado su confianza en nuestro liderazgo. Querido Senhor, conceda-nos a humildade de buscar sempre tu vontade em todo lo que hacemos e decimos. Toda a glória seja a ti, amado Deus, agora e sempre. Amém.
Board Member Debbie Blackshear will read the district's vision and mission statement for the benefit of the audience.
Our vision statement is learn, empower, achieve, dream, lead. Our mission statement maximize every student's potential through rigorous and relevant learning experiences, preparing students to be 21st century global leaders.
Thank you, Debbie. We will now move on to the special recognitions portion of the agenda. 1A, in honor of the Texas School Board Recognition Month, the superintendent will recognize the Cypress-Fairbanks ISD Board of Trustees for their dedication, leadership, and continuing service to the children of the district.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. And while our young people are coming in, we're going to ask the board here in a couple of minutes, not yet, to step down to the front row. But before we do that, we are at a point where we must decide, do we believe in local control? Democracy is under attack, but the threat is not by a foreign power. It is an overreaching federal and state government that has determined that they know what is best for local communities. Cities, counties, and school districts governed by locally elected community leaders have been deemed the enemy of the state of Texas. Tax rates, local policy ordinances, and bond elections are being decided by leaders in Austin instead of democratically elected local community representatives. Do we believe that the best government is the one closest to the people, or do we believe that Washington and Austin's heavy-handed agenda is best for local citizens? We begin deciding that in March. I'm proud to work for and with some local volunteers who give of their time, money, and effort to support the students and staff of CFISD. Selected as the Texas Honor Board of the Year, they are a group of men and women who believe in opportunity for all. I am proud to call them my local representatives, but more than that, I'm proud to call them my friends. Thank you, CFISD School Board, for the difference that you're making in our community. I also have two people that would like to recognize the board this evening. First of all will be Cyfair Houston Chamber of Commerce, Leslie Martone, or Martoon, whichever one. And then after Leslie talks, we'll have Kent Klingerman, who's the Community Outreach Director for RJAC Cagle, our Commissioner. Leslie?
Well, thank you so much. On behalf of the Cypher Houston Chamber of Commerce, I can't see you guys back there. You're back there somewhere. That's all right. Stay there. Thank you guys so much for all that you do. I asked Teresa if it would be okay to share this, and I thought it was kind of appropriate. I actually had planned some certificates from Congressman McCall's office to be printed and delivered to you today, but unfortunately the government is shut down and they were forbidden to go in and print them. So on the chamber, you get a cup of coffee that you can have until those certificates are printed and we can get those delivered to you. But we thank you for making our community great, a great place to build a family, build a business, and thrive. And we just love this area so much. So thank you for all that you do, and we appreciate you. Thanks.
Well, good evening. While the federal government is shut down, the local government is still going strong in Harris County Precinct 4. My name is Kent Klingerman. I work for Commissioner Jack Cagle, Harris County Precinct 4, and Commissioner Cagle asked me to express his gratitude to you all for the blood, sweat, and tears that you pour into the community, especially the students of Cypher ISD. He's prepared a proclamation I'd like to read on his behalf. It says, the Honorable R. Jack Cagle hereby recognizes the trustees of the Cypher Independent School District. As Precinct 4 Commissioner of Harris County, Texas, and on behalf of the citizens of Harris County, we offer our sincere gratitude for the compassion, guidance, and outstanding leadership you've provided within Cypher Independent School District. Your hard work and dedication have made a significant impact on the lives of the children, families, and fellow educators in our community. Therefore, I hereby proclaim the month of January 2018 as School Board Recognition Month. That's signed R. Jack Cagle, Commissioner, Harris County, Precinct 4. Thank you.
Okay, board, we're now moved to the front row.
You're in a new chair. You're still in a new chair, Mr. President. What? Hey, you're still in a new chair, Mr. President. That's my chair.
Oh, I'm good. You got a promotion, John. You can't turn it down.
We want to thank the Cypress Ranch Chamber Choir for that awesome performance. Why don't we give them another applaud? They were under the direction of Cynthia Douglas, and that was awesome. I tell you, if we could have something like that every board meeting, we'd be all right. In fact, let's make a motion for that, and also give all the students the top grade. Yeah, can we do that? That was awesome.
I've got that on record now, John.
Okay. We'll move further in our agenda. Item 1B, the board will recognize the winners. Oh, gosh, wait. There's a video presentation. Don't wait, Stuart.
1 second.
Wait, Stuart. Okay.
Nagode de Achinku. Kamang Yalam.
Muchas gracias.
أنا أشكركم لدرسك CFISD.
Shukran Jazilan CFISD.
Thank you, CFISD Board of Trustees. We appreciate all that you do.
All right, thank you. All right, now Stuart, to 1B, the board will recognize the winners of the 2017 fall semester campus attendance incentives. Incentives, does that mean money?
That means
Stuart?
money.
All right.
Lots of money.
It's money night.
Before I get started, though, thank you, President Ogletree, members of the board, Dr. Henry. We need to get a table set up here so that we can put the checks on there and make sure that we don't drop them and get them all mixed up. So if we could wait just a few minutes.
We need a table.
I'll be fine. I'll go over there. I'll be fine.
You can pull one of these chairs up, Karen. Pull one of these chairs up to help. Okay. I think we're ready. So if you recall, trustees, the board graciously approved a campus attendance incentive program in the 2017-18 general operating budget for a total cost of $441,000, of which $208,000 will be spent tonight for the 130 winners at $1,600 each for the fall semester, the 2017 fall semester. And another $208,000 for another 130 winners at the end of the spring semester. And then at the end of the year, another $25,000 for 5 additional winners at $5,000 each at the end of the year. This is the second year of this incentive. Last year, 4,425 employees were eligible to win the $1,600 for the fall semester, and 3,115 people were eligible for the spring semester, totaling 7,577 people. In addition, 469 employees were eligible for the $5,000 end-of-year Perfect Attendance Award. Just as a reminder, the incentive program was designed to accomplish 2 goals. First, the primary goal is to maintain the continuity of classroom instruction by keeping the regular teacher in the classroom every day. And again, I can't overemphasize the importance of what a difference it makes for our students when their regular teacher is in the class every day, providing constant and consistent instruction every day, simply by providing the structure and the stability of their learning environment as well as the students' academic achievement. Thank you, guys. Secondly, a goal to reduce the approximately $10 million that we spend each year on instructional substitute costs. And again, as a reminder, the way the incentive program works is full-time classroom teachers and campus paraeducators are eligible to have their name drawn each semester for $1,600 attendance incentive if the individual has 2 or fewer absences during that semester. Each semester stands alone, so that a teacher or paraeducator who may not be eligible for the drawing in the fall semester can be eligible at the end of the spring semester. And at the end of the school year, any full-time classroom teacher or campus paraeducator with perfect attendance all year will be eligible to have their name drawn to receive one of 5 $5,000 attendance incentive awards. Each elementary campus will draw 1 incentive winner, each middle school will draw 2 winners, and each high school, with the exception of Cy Park and Bridgeland, will draw 3 winners. Cy Park and Bridgeland high schools will each draw 2 winners. Next year, when we add another grade, then they will also draw 3 winners from those campuses. In Winfern, ALC East, ALC West, and the Carlton Carpenter Centers will each draw 1 winner. So for the fall semester, 130 full-time teachers and campus paraeducators have been drawn to win $1,600 attendance incentives. So tonight, I am really excited to recognize and for the board members to help in this celebration to be able to hand out checks to those individuals who had 2 or fewer absences during the fall semester and were fortunate to have their names drawn. Although 130 individuals are winners tonight of the $1,600 incentive check, I want you to know that 4,574 people were eligible for the fall semester drawing. That's 149 more people than the fall semester of 2016-17, about a 3% increase in the number of the people that are educated. And then at the end of the school year, at the June board meeting, we'll ask you again to hand out another 130 checks for $1,600 each for those full-time teachers and campus paraeducators, plus the 5 additional checks for $5,000 each for those individuals who had perfect attendance all year. So I will call out each winner's name alphabetically by campus and by campus level, beginning with the alternative and elementary campuses, and then the secondary campuses. So, and you have, board members, you have a list there of the campuses that you're going to help us with this, and so I appreciate your help with that. So with that, they're going to hand me their card with their name, and I hope that I don't mispronounce or butcher their names as well. So, and then they keep that card as their ticket to actually get their check. If they are not here, and they won and they were drawn at the campus level, we are mailing those checks out to them tomorrow. So with that, let's get started. From the Carpenter Carlton Center, Tarek Hanna. Congratulations, buddy. Thank you. From ALC East, Kevin Bussey. Here you go, Patrick. That's your ticket. Winfern School of Choice, Carl Van Overdam. Thank you. From Andre Elementary School, Cornette Hawkins. From Alt Elementary School, Deanna Snowden. Is it Deanna or Dee Dee?
Deanna.
Okay, good. Got it. From Bain Elementary School, Brenda Booker. Thank you. From Bang Elementary School, Georgina Gothard. There you go. Burks Elementary School, Taylor Kenny. Hi. Black Elementary School, Millie Wilkes. Here you go, guy. Take Millie. That's your ticket for your check. Duryea Elementary School, Jacqueline McNair. Thank you. Emory Elementary School, Ann Brown. That was an easy one. Emmett Elementary School, Pamela Tompkins. Thank you. From Farney Elementary School, Megan Aftosmas. My grandkids go to Farney. Yeah. Feast Elementary School, Amy Brocious. And from Francona Elementary School, Natasha Bates. Natasha, you gotta have your Fraser Elementary School, Marcus Henderson. Gleason Elementary School, Ann Brown. Ann. Hamilton Elementary School, Cindy Sullivan. Hancock Elementary School, Teresa Gladstone. Hi, Rebecca. Hemingway Elementary School, Rebecca Bottoms. Holbrook Elementary School, Kelsey Wishkowski. Yeah. Ha-ha. Horn Elementary School, Rafael Puso. Joel Elementary School, Jordan Saldino. Keith Elementary School, Nicole Salinas. Kirk Elementary School, Neville Alamo. Lambkin Elementary School, Thomas Solbeck.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. Lee Elementary School, Catherine Hoskins. Catherine, you'll need this. Lowry Elementary School, Emily Pearson. Maskey Elementary School, Karen Wood. Here you go, Karen. McPhee Elementary School, Tanya Hall. Here you go, Tanya. Millsap Elementary School, Jante Martin. Here you go, Jante. Moore Elementary School, Jordan Baldwin. Owens Elementary School, Marlene Navarro Aeronautici. Am I killing it? Yeah? All right. Pope Elementary School, Erica Good. Okay. Post Elementary School, Rebecca Solis. Rebecca. Thank you. Postma Elementary School, Donna Lamb. Hi, Donna. Reed Elementary School, Francesca Santiago. Rennell Elementary School, Maria Garcia. I have another granddaughter who goes to Rennell. Yeah. M. Robinson Elementary School, Hunter Fink. Hi, Hunter. Robinson Elementary School, Randa Gross. Sheridan Elementary School, Tracy Barrett. Thank you. Hi. Swanky Elementary School, Rosie Simmons. Rosie. Tips Elementary School, Sharon Scaldone. Shaldone. Walker Elementary School, Aaron Rushlow. Yeah, there you go. Warner Elementary School, Angela Hicks. Wells Elementary School, Laura Hernandez. Wilburn Elementary School, Morgan Myatt. You don't know how hard that one was. Wilson Elementary School, Janine Davis. Yeager Elementary School, Andrea Ludwig. Congratulations. Anthony Middle School, Alyssa Crocker. Blyle Middle School, Joshua Cronister. Here you go, Carl. Campbell Middle School, Melissa Frost. Cook Middle School, Dorothy Hewlett. Okay. Oh, that happens. Got it out of order here. Okay, Cook Middle School, Dorothy Hewlett. Is it out of order again? Hi, how are you doing? Hi. Cook Middle School, Roberta Narosi. Here you go. Hi, how are you? Dean Middle School, Alejandro Estrada. Dean Middle School, Victoria Lance. Thank you. Hi. Hamilton Middle School, Ashley Stearns. Here, Ashley. Hi. Hamilton Middle School, Lauren Myers. How you doing? Hopper Middle School, Ronald Holdeman. Ronald. Thank you. Hi, how are you doing? Good. Good to see you. Hopper Middle School, Antonio Rodriguez. Hi. How you doing? Good. Kayla Middle School, Teresa Curtis. Thank you. Hi. Kayla Middle School, Chelsea Howard. Congrats. Hi. Libi Middle School, Lauren Dawson. Hi. Libi Middle School, Denise Aaron. How you doing? Great. Salyards Middle School, Jonathan Hubbard. Hello. Salyards Middle School, Wendy Gillikin. Wendy. Hello. Thornton Middle School, Geneva Olson. Hello. Thornton Middle School, Teresa Morales. Hi. Bridgeland High School. First one from Bridgeland High School. Matthew Rader. Here you go, Matt. You were trying to hide it from me? Cypress Creek High School, Christine Tremont. Tremonti. Hello. You've been chewing on that? No. Cypress Creek High School, Stephen Heidemann. Thank you. Hi. Cypress Creek High School, Mark Mason. Hi. Cy-Fair High School, Barbara Kuntz. Hi. Cy-Fair High School, Lisa Young. Hello. Cy Falls High School, Cody Harding. Hello. Cy Falls High School, Rachel Catney. Hello. Cy Falls High School, David Vargas. Here you go, David. Hello. Cy Lakes High School, Lori McKelvey. Yeah. Hello. Cy Lakes High School, Nicholas Hightower. Cy Park High School, Leslie Bertrand. Hello. Cy Park High School, Cornelius Cooley. Cy Ranch High School, Marianne Dersch. Hello. Cy Ranch High School, William Durning. Hey. Cy Ranch High School, Ruth Mulligan. Sometimes I have mulligans on the golf course. But. Cy Ridge High School, Hannah Roberts. Oh, stick to the script, all right. Cy Springs High School, Kristen Hughes. Hi, Kristen. Hello. Cy Springs High School, Miriam Melendez. Here you go, Miriam. Cy Springs High School, Garrett Reese. Garrett. Hi, how are you? Cy Woods High School, Kristen Isaacson. Here you go, Kristen. Mm-hmm. Hello. Cy Woods High School, Chi Wong. Chi? Okay. Jersey Village High School, Corey Waller. Hi, Corey. Hello. Jersey Village High School, Addie Matthews. And from Jersey Village High School, Dennis Martinez. Thank you. So thank you, board members, for your indulgence. And this is a wonderful program, and I hope that we are able to continue this in future years. So.
It's great to be able to appreciate the teachers for their attendance and keeping our continuity in our classrooms. We are glad to have so many that we could share our appreciation with. We now go to 1C. The board will recognize Stacy Anderson, Chuck Brandman, and Tom Pickford for their service on the Community Leadership Council, our CLC.
Dr. Ogletree, Dr. Henry, and Board of Trustees, tonight it is my honor and privilege to recognize 3 of our valued CLC members for their leadership and service to our community. The Community Leadership Committee, the CLC, was established over 10 years ago as a committee of volunteers which includes local business owners, clergy, retirees, and former educators and parents of current and former CFISD students. The purpose of this committee is to make every effort to protect the integrity of education in CFISD. The CLC meets monthly to learn about legislative, financial, and operational issues that impact our district. They in turn share this information with the residential and business communities and legislators to help them better understand the issues that impact the quality of education in our district. We are thankful for their hard work and continued support of our district. At this time, I would like to first recognize CLC member Stacy Anderson. If you want to come on up, Stacy. Since Stacy's retirement as an engineer for ConocoPhillips in 2005, she has been a dedicated volunteer in CFISD and has been asked to serve on several district committees, which is what led her to the CLC in 2008. Stacy is an avid advocate for public education and CFISD, both in our community and with our legislators in Austin. She was the chair of the CLC from 2011 to 2013 and continues to be an active member. Stacy and her husband Jim have 2 daughters who graduated from Langham Creek High School, and she also has served, got some Lobos in the house. She has also served as the chair of the PTO President's Council on the Superintendent's Parent Advisory Committee and as a CPOC representative for Lowry Elementary and Aragon Middle Schools. She recently became a disaster case manager through the Sci-Hope Disaster Recovery Network and will be shepherding families who are still recovering from Hurricane Harvey. Thank you, Stacy, for your years of service and dedication and support to our community and CFISD. The next committee member I would like to recognize is Chuck Brandman. Chuck, come on up. Chuck joined the CLC in 2010 and served as secretary from 2013 until this past fall. In addition to his continued service on the CLC, Chuck supports Pope Elementary School as a CPOC representative. Chuck recently joined the Cyfair Federal Credit Union. We got too many committees here. Recently joined the Cyfair Federal Credit Union Board of Directors in 2016 after serving as a member of their supervisory committee. He is currently the board treasurer. Chuck and his wife Judy have 2 children who graduated from Langham Creek High School and granddaughters who are currently attending Aragon Middle School and Langham Creek High School. He recently retired from the Dow Chemical Company, and Chuck has been and continues to be a great asset to the CLC and our district. He takes on multiple volunteer leadership roles throughout the community, and we are grateful for his time, dedication, and talents to the CLC. So thank you, Chuck. Now I would like to recognize CLC member Tom Pickford. Tom has been a member of the CLC since 2006 and held that position of chairperson from 2013 to 2017. Tom is an attorney at law and partner in the Hoover Slovak LLC commercial and employment litigation practice, and his wife is a teacher at Cy Lakes High School. He has been practicing law for over 30 years. He is a member of the State Bar of Texas, the Texas Bar College, the Houston Bar Association, the Cyfair Houston Chamber of Commerce, and continues his membership in the CLC. During Tom's tenure as chairperson of the CLC, his vision and extraordinary ability and leadership impacted the district, his peers, and the community for the better. Through his leadership and teamwork, Tom was able to accomplish many organizational objectives for our committee, and we thank him for his time and dedication. So thank you, Tom. You know, just real quickly, I hope that the audience did recognize the theme with all 3 of these incredible people, that they no longer have kids in our system. They've all graduated from Cyfair, but they continue to volunteer, they continue to support and give up their time and energy to make this district better for all of our students. So we thank you for that. So thank you.
Thank you, Stacy, Chuck, and Tom. You have really made a difference, and thank you for how you serve our community. And as Teresa just said, our district is the better for all the things that you've done. We love you. Thank you so much. Item 1D, the superintendent will make remarks and announcements, including the honors and achievements earned by staff and students in recent weeks.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree, trustees. Before I start with the scheduled announcements or honors, I want to just give a quick reminder that Bridgeland High School is hosting a community open house this Saturday, January 27th from 9 to 11 a.m. Bring the family out to visit CFISD's state-of-the-art 12th High School. So if you get a chance, come out and see the newest high school. On December 7th, the long-standing relationship between Cypress Park High School Principal Chris Hecker and Second Baptist Church's Cypress campus was brought together under CFISD's Adopt a School program. For Second Baptist Church, the adoption of Cypress Park High School completes a trifecta in supporting and giving back to CFISD and the community. The church has already adopted Alt Elementary School and Salyards Middle School. CFISD's Adopt a School program pairs schools with community and business partners to utilize resources of the community to strengthen and enrich the quality of education for all students. After 8 decades, Cy-Fair High School's football team reached its first ever state championship game. Cy-Fair dominated Waco Midway in nearly every facet. The Bobcats forced 4 turnovers, held Midway to -1 yard rushing through 3 quarters, and led by as many as 37 points in their 51-35 victory to capture the Class 6A Division II state championship on December 23rd at AT&T Stadium in Arlington, Texas. Congratulations to the Cy-Fair football trainers and coaches, and I would also add to that congratulations to the Cy-Fair ISD community. On January 5th and 6th, CFISD hosted the 16th annual CFISD Invitational Wrestling Tournament at the Berry Center. 30 CFISD wrestlers won medals, including 5 who claimed individual championships in their respective weight classes. The district also swept the awards for the tournament's top wrestlers. The Cypress Ranch High School girls team repeated as the district's highest placing representative. Other CFISD girls teams to place among the top 20 teams were Cypress Springs High School, Cypress Ridge High School, Cy-Fair High School, and Cypress Woods High School. In the boys' tournament, Cypress Lakes High School had the highest finish among CFISD teams, placing 6th, and Cy-Fair and Cy-Ranch placing 8th and 9th, respectively. Congratulations to all our talented wrestlers. And I don't have this on the list, but Cy-Fair ISD will once again be hosting the UIL State Championship match. And what you know the dates of that right off, Teresa? It's it's in February. So watch the website. We're proud to be one of only a couple of schools throughout the state that actually get to host a UIL State Championship. February 23rd. Mike Maddox, who spent all but 3 of his 32 years as a successful baseball coach at Jersey Village High School, will officially have his name among the state's best as he will be inducted into the Texas High School Baseball Coaches Association Hall of Fame on January 12th at the association's 2018 convention in Waco. We recently selected new principals for Truett Middle School, Pope Elementary School, Spillane Middle School, and McPhee Elementary School. I will turn it over to Roy Garcia for introductions.
Yeah, after I fixed that computer I knocked over accidentally. Sorry about that. Thank you, Dr. Henry. President Ogletree and Board of Trustees, it is always exciting when we have the opportunity to introduce a principal to you and to the CFISD community. And this evening we have 4 principals that we would like to announce to you. I will share just some brief information about each one and then provide the opportunity for our principals to say a few words to you and, of course, to introduce their family and any friends and supporters that they have here. Our first principal we like to announce tonight and introduce to you is our new principal for Truett Middle School, Miss Yvette Garcia. Yvette received her Bachelor of Arts in Education as well as her Master of Education in Administration from Stephen F. Austin University. Ms. Garcia is in her 32nd year in the education profession with 30 in CFISD. She began her teaching career at Moore Elementary, and after a brief stay in California teaching for 2 years, she returned to CFISD, where she taught at Sheridan Elementary and served as an instructional specialist and assistant principal at Post Elementary. She was a principal at Francone and Holbrook Elementary. Yvette enjoys spending time with her family, baking, and simply being together. She has 2 children, Brent and Ty. Yvette's grandbabies are Trey and Avery, who she says have stolen her heart. Please join me in congratulating Yvette on her new leadership assignment.
President Ogletree and Board of Trustees, I just want to thank you. I'm going to make this brief because I have a lot of people to introduce. But I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to lead Truett from good to great, because we're going to be great. So thank you. I'd like to start with my dad. This is Lee Garcia. Mom, Mickey Garcia. This is my son, Brent. One of my hearts. This is Trey. Wave, Trey. My sister, Krista. I have my son-in-law, Jeff, and my granddaughter, Avery. Just wave. She's not shy. This is my daughter, Ty, and also my really good friends from Holbrook. I have Pam and Melissa. So, thank you.
Congratulations, Yvette. Our next announcement is for our new principal for Pope Elementary School, Miss Elizabeth Bradley. Elizabeth received her Bachelor of Arts in Communication from Sam Houston State University and her Master of Arts in Curriculum and Technology from the University of Phoenix. Ms. Bradley has 16 years in education. She began her career as a 4th grade teacher in Houston ISD before joining Cypress-Fairbanks at Horn Elementary, also as a 4th grade teacher. Elizabeth served as a teacher at Andre Elementary and Aragon Middle School, where she was selected by both schools as their spotlight teacher. She served as a campus content instructional specialist at both Aragon and Salyards Middle School before moving to Kayla Middle School as a director of instruction helping teacher. Elizabeth served as the director of instruction at Kayla since 2013. When Elizabeth is not working, she enjoys spending time with her husband of 12 years, Chris, and their fur babies. You may have to tell us more about that. She loves running and will complete, not compete, but complete her 3rd marathon in February. Oh, okay. Why don't you go ahead and add another 13.1 to that. Half marathon. Elizabeth and Chris have been Cypress residents for the past 15 years. Please join me in congratulating Elizabeth.
President Ogletree, Board of Trustees, Dr. Henry, thank you so much for the honor to serve as a leader at Pope Elementary. I am truly excited. I told Roy Garcia every day I wake up and I want to pinch myself. I'm very happy to be here. And I would not be where I am today without this wonderful group of people that have all come to support me this evening. I have dear friends and mentors that I'd like to introduce. Anna Martin, Sage Papiano, Lori Fuller, Jill Smith, Tracy Hernandez, Virgil Maddox, Lauren Fritz, Sam eBay. I would not be the leader and educator that I am today without all of these wonderful, dear, dear friends and mentors who have guided me along the way. As far as family members, watching from home in Surprise, Arizona, streaming live, my mother and father-in-law and my sister-in-law, Jennifer Bradley, Daryl Bradley, and Melissa Bradley. So hi. My wonderful husband here of almost 12 years, and then my grandmother, Delinda Murray, and my grandfather, Fabian Murray, who will watch the recorded version at a later time. He's not really 21st century, but that's okay. And then my sister, Catherine Longoria, who is also a district employee, and my niece, Emily Longoria, and my nephew, Matthew Longoria. It's because of all of these people I am where I am today. So thank you very much. I love you all.
Our next announcement is for our new principal for Spillane Middle School, Mrs. Jamie Brote-Markle. Jamie received her Bachelor of Science from Georgia Southern University and her Master of Education in Counseling from Georgia State University. Jamie's principal certification was awarded from St. Thomas University. Ms. Brokemarkle has 21 years of experience in the education profession. She served as a middle and high school teacher, coach, and counselor in Georgia before joining Cy-Fair in 2004. Jamie served as a counselor at Aragon and Spillane Middle Schools. She then served as an assistant principal at Spillane for 4 years, and then as a director of instruction also at Spillane for the past 7 years. When Jamie is not working, she enjoys spending time running, traveling, and watching her girls play soccer. She and her husband Rob have 2 daughters, Ryan, a freshman at Cy-Fair High School, and Megan, a 7th grader at Hamilton Middle School. The other family member is Sydney, their adorable golden retriever. Please join me in congratulating Jamie.
Dr. Ogletree, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm sure that you guys heard I've been at Spillane for quite some time, so to be named principal, but to be named principal at Spillane, just I can't even begin to express what that has meant to me. It's like coming home. They're my family, and it's just been a wonderful, wonderful ride. And Roy was joking before I walked in. He said that he thinks his golden retriever's prettier than mine. Anyway, Board, also my daughter, I think he mentioned she's a soccer player at Fair, so we love your shirts. We wanted to throw that out there. But if I could just take a second to thank the Spillane family that's here, Tracy Spalding and her husband Stan, the person who, I don't know how I could ever begin to stand up. Mr. Manis, Mike Manis, who is the most amazing, wonderful person. Thank you. And his daughter, Sophie, who's been a Spartan. And then Steve Miller, who was named DI of Spillane today. Yes, thank you, God. I'm not the only. He's helping out now. And then I'm sorry if I missed any other Spillane Spartans in here. My family, Jean Brokemarkle, who worked for Cy-Fair for over 20 years. And then, again, Ryan, one of our soccer players. Megan is actually at Hamilton playing basketball tonight, she would not give up the game to come. And then Rob Brokemarkle, my husband. So, thank you.
And our final principal introduction is the new principal for McPhee Elementary School, Mrs. Sharon Whitfield. Which today was her first day as principal. Sharon received her Bachelor of Science degree in Broadcast Journalism from State University of New York in Brockport and her Master of Education from Stephen F. Austin University. Sharon has 15 years of experience in the education profession. She started her education career as a teacher in New York before joining Cy-Fair, where she served as a teacher at Copeland, Sampson, and Haregrove Elementary Schools. Sharon has served as an assistant principal at McPhee Elementary for the past 7 years. She has also served as a summer school principal and a member of the Leadership Development Continuum Committee. Sharon and her husband Daniel have 2 daughters, Jessica and Maya. Both girls are Cy-Fair graduates and have gone on to graduate from college. Sharon is a foodie and a chef at heart. I bet the McPhee staff is on ooh also. So the family enjoys eating out, but really loves to feast on Sharon's elaborate home-cooked meals. So please join me in congratulating Ms. Whitfield on her new leadership opportunity.
Thank you to President Ogletree, to the Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. Thank you so much for entrusting me in this position to lead McPhee. McPhee is family to me, so it was a homecoming today, and I was giddy, and I am going to come back tomorrow because I had a wonderful time. I could not have gotten here without the love and support of family and friends. I would like to introduce them. My husband, Daniel, and my daughter, Maya. Jessica's at work. And then I would like to introduce, they're my colleagues, but they're also my family. So I want to introduce Stacy, and she's a teacher at Woodard. And then I'd like to introduce Jennifer. She's an IS at McPhee. Sherry McCain, and you were at Robinson. She's retired. And so she's going to volunteer. She'll be volunteering at McPhee. Jackie Jackson, who's at Sheridan, and then I have Norma Lynn Richards and her daughter, and they are teachers at McPhee, and then Virgil Maddox, and I had your students at McPhee too, so very wonderful. And a special thank you to Mike Manis, because it was a meeting 5 years ago, and he tapped me on the shoulder, and it just changed my trajectory. And so thank you very much.
Outstanding, outstanding. I want to do this right now before we take a break. We're going to take a break so we can congratulate all of you. I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Dorsey Mingonia. She is our immediate past president. She served from December 2015 to December 2017, and she was the consummate leader of our board, and she did so much to keep us unified. She was so diligent in her communication and making sure that all of us were doing our best. Dorsey loves this district, loves children, loves everything that Cypress-Fairbanks ISD is all about. And Dorsey, we can't thank you enough for everything that you did for us. And so glad you're still on the board. But you were really a blessing, and we thank God for you. And if you would, to come here, we have something we want to present to you. And it says, to Dorsey Mingonia for your service to Cypress-Fairbanks Independent School District as president of this board. God bless you. Thank you. All right, we're going to recess so we can, and we'll be back in about 7 minutes.
7 minutes, yeah,
We're now at the board comment section of our agenda. Any board member may make a comment during this portion of the agenda without prior posting being required. Comment items may not pertain to the character of any student, staff, or board member, and may not be discussed or deliberated upon at this time. All right, Christine, you want to get started?
Go ahead and kick it off. I just want to say how exciting it is as we honor the Cy-Fair Bobcats football team tonight with their historic state win. I also wanted to comment, this is a historic night that you're witnessing this Cy Creek Cougar and LSU Tiger wearing maroon. Okay, so that is how much I love this district, all right? I would say the same for my Longhorn board members who, typically are not sporting the maroon either, but such an exciting time, such an awesome win, just such a great representation of Cy-Fair ISD. So that was my first comment. My second is that I just wanted to give a shout out to Second Baptist, the Cypress campus, for adopting 3 of our schools. But I was also there on Sunday, and I got to see that they had put the call out for mentors. And this is National Mentor Month, I do believe. But they had put it out to their Sunday school classes. And I got to welcome and thank 28 people who signed up to be a mentor for our district. I was able to share with them how they can make such a huge change in a student's life. I have students who I say, who reads to you at home? And they say, nobody. I have a friend who's a mentor, started with a child in 6th grade. He's graduating high school this year. His college essays say, I would not be going to college except for my mentor. It can make such a huge difference in our children's lives. So I just wanted to say thank you to all the mentors. But I think it's really neat that one of our partners reached out and not just to adopt a school, but said, we want to do more for your district. So thank you.
All right.
Sorry. I, too, am proud to wear the Cy-Fair Bobcat shirt tonight and want to thank the coach and his team, the players, the trainers, and all the students and parents and community who supported the Bobcats all the way through the season to the state title. I guess it was a week ago, Friday, when they held their celebration at Cypher High School to celebrate their big win and state title. And it was so great to see how many of the alumni had come back to cheer and be so excited about what the Bobcats achieved this season. But also, I'd like to say, and I think it was stated in an article in the Dallas Morning News, also how important this win was for our community as a whole, who had suffered so much through Harvey and the reconstruction, and it's still ongoing. But I really feel like this win, this state title, really did a lot to at least allow some people to forget some of their pain, at least for a little while. So it was a great thing for our community. Also want to thank Dorinda Klein. I don't know if she's still here, and her staff at Hair Grove. I visited them week before last, and I'm just in awe every time I step into one of our Cypher schools. They are not alike by any means. Each school is unique, but it's just amazing. I don't know how else to say it. It is just amazing, all the learning opportunities our students have, and how the different schools have different methods and programs. While many are the same, they may be administered a little bit differently to reach our students, and it makes a huge difference for our kids, and I believe that's why our school district is so successful. And as we saw tonight, 4 new principals in our district. We really have the best of the best in Cypher ISD. Thank you.
All right, Dorothy.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. I wanted to mention something very important that's coming up very quickly, and that is voting in the March primary. A lot of times decisions are made in the March primary that really impact all of us. And it's important that you vote in the primary so that your views are known at that time. Because if you wait until November, the candidates have already been selected and you haven't been part of the process. And I want to remind everyone that in order to vote in March, you have to be registered by February 5th. Now, you might have gotten a card in the mail like this. That means you're all registered and ready to go. If you didn't get it in the mail, that means you're not registered. And it could just be simply that they don't have the correct address or something of that nature. Please register. Tonight, Julie Heinemann's in the audience. She's a deputy voter registrar. She could take care of that for you, and Marlene is as well, so she could take care of that. You can discreetly go over, and none of us will know. And I know that you're hesitant because you think that you're going to get a jury summons just because you registered to vote. Believe me, they have your name and address from many other sources, including your driver's license. You don't give up your opportunity to drive. Don't give up your opportunity to register to vote. So February 5th, please make sure you're registered. Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. Don?
Well, I want to thank my board members for wearing the one true color. Cypher High School BFND. Tell them Kelly Ray. That was awesome, by the way. And then a couple of things. Stuart, on our campus attendance incentive awards, I'm so glad that we do that. That's a lot of money. $1,600, for that first semester goes a long way. I wouldn't mind seeing us open up for part-time employees so Dr. Henry would be eligible. Nah, just kidding. Just kidding. No, but I also want to thank, since it is Board Appreciation Month,
the schools go out of their way to recognize us, and it really means a lot to, and I know I'll be speaking for everyone up here, when we get books donated in our name and the kids make cards and stuff like that for us. That means a lot because unlike the teachers that got paid tonight, we don't get paid. So little things like that do mean a lot, and I just want to let you know that I'm extremely grateful for all the efforts that the principals and the campuses do for this month. It means a lot, so thank you very much. That's all I got.
Tom, thank you.
You know, with a little bit of amusement, poking fun at myself, I've been accused of making too many obtuse comments, either in board questions or in board comments. So I actually had somebody take a look at my comments and go through and prune them and fix them so that what I would say would actually be intelligible to somebody. I left it all at the house. So I'm very sorry, but once again, it will be rather cloudy. First for CLC, y'all are not here, but Julie is, and so is Marlene, and Chuck is here. So for Tom and Chuck and Stacy, I thought enough of the three of you that I asked each of y'all to run as trustee in my stead. Each of the three of you would have done a better job than I have, but I value what you have done for this district and this community. You built a foundation based upon real truth and real facts, upon which voters could make an informed decision, but you also created a foundation to trust. More than that, through your community engagement, you created a foundation upon which the superintendent and the chief financial officer could stand, and gave them the foundation they needed to argue for an increase in funding that amounted, when all the dust settled, to an extra $100 per child. That's $10 million a year. As a prior legislator said, I'll repeat these words to you and those that you represent. You do more good than you know. So thank you. I completed my full complement of school visits last semester. So that included Holbrook, Wilson, and Robeson. A couple of thoughts that I would share. The school desk of their parents and their grandparents have given way to flexible seating, permitting students to be comfortable while they're learning, enhancing educational attainment. In addition, each of these campuses was designed by the principal to address the needs of their individual students. What's remarkable about this district is that it's not one size fits all. So whether you're trying to combat 40% mobility through a detailed look at process and a constant review of day-to-day details because they change so often, to providing exercise equipment for those who come in with a little too much steam to be able to learn as fully as you might like them to, or creating a digital flipped classroom. Every campus has process innovations that work and lead to outstanding attainment. I joined my colleagues, all of whom were there either physically or in spirit for the Cy-Fair celebration. Certainly, as Debbie pointed out, to see the community there in full support, as well as the full effort, a team effort from community as well as students and staff, was remarkable. However, when John and I stepped onto the AstroTurf and walked the track that my daughter ran on when it was threadbare and had nuggets taken out of it, it was remarkable. And I have to thank those of you who were on the bond steering committee to have made a superb recommendation, but also to the voters who voted to approve putting in tracks and fields at our high schools. Truly, it was a good decision that was made by all. And the last thing that I would share, long before I was a trustee, my next door neighbor convinced me to attend a Winfern graduation, and I did. And I haven't missed one since. The stories you hear from the children touch your heart, but they also reaffirm the job we do as trustee, as well as the business model for delivery of education that we embrace, which is maximizing opportunities for all children, looking for that rising tide that lifts all boats and not just some. And so I tip my hat tonight to the principals who permit us to go into their classrooms and into their schools so we can learn more about the business of education and what they're doing. I tip my hat to those involved at Winfern. And I would say I am proud to wear burgundy tonight to show my support for excellence at the highest level. Thank you.
All right, Bob.
I generally don't talk for a long period of time, but this time I'm going to be Tom's attaché here. And I did try to look up obtuse, and it's not in my phone. I'm just going to tell you. I'm not sure what that meant, but I think I'm probably going to do it. In the past few weeks, I had the opportunity to visit 6 schools within our district. I started out at Langham Creek with Principal David Hughes, who I have to admit is one fast-stepping individual. I think I lost 5 pounds in just doing the tour with him. We were able to see a number of classes, including the Awesome Corral, Read 180 classes, and the New Arrival Center. All curricular and extracurricular programs are very special to me, but these 3 hold a special place, and I'm very proud of the students, faculty, support staff, and administration for doing such a remarkable job. And achieving all distinctions is something to be very proud of, without a doubt, especially on the high school level. Then to Keith Elementary in Fairfield, which just perchance 2 of my granddaughters are students. The new principal, Dawn Tryon, was such an amazing host. I love the marquee, and am again impressed with the accomplishments in this school. I was really excited to hear the professional development that our teachers are involved in, either in giving and or learning within the school. And then on to Alt Elementary and visit with Principal Jeff Lacote and his awesome APs, Meredith Akers and Julie Clements, whom I happen to have known since they were in elementary school. It is so exciting to see our Sci-Fair products come back to join our staffs and make a difference in the education of new generations of students. I see this as paying it forward or growing our own, which is what assists in keeping Sci-Fair education excellent and endearing. 4 members of the student council were my hosts at Alt, and their enthusiasm was contagious. That's a lot of fun when you have 4th graders taking you around and giving you their perception of what's going on in the classroom. This morning I started at Lee Elementary, and their principal, Ms. Susan Epperson, hosted my visit. We had the opportunity to visit a lot of classes. In fact, the first class we went by was a kindergarten class who were lining up to go to PE, or recess, outside. And they all had their coats on, and the first young man looked at me and turned to the principal and said, "Is this it?" And I think she had told him that there was somebody coming to visit, and I was the it. So that was pretty funny. And then as they all started telling me that they were Eagles fans or they were some kind of fan, and one walked by and said he was still an Astros fan, and one cute little girl stopped and she said, "Well, I love Barbies." Now, I got to tell you, it's just too funny. One might think that someone visiting campus might draw attention away from the learning environment, but in fact, it does not. In fact, it is really fun to be a part of their activities without taking away from their concentration. Lee Elementary has an orchestra, and I believe it's the only elementary in Sci-Fair that has one. 5th graders are having an opportunity to hone their skills, which per many studies also helps in their math and science education. Next up was Caleb Middle School and Mr. Virgil Maddox, who is principal and has been for just 1 year, and he hosted the tour. Visiting a number of classes and with some of the grade level faculty, we were in the planning time, was just what I love to see, and that's teachers sitting around a table planning for their classes. Mr. Maddox and his staff have implemented a program that I wasn't aware of called Zoom. Now, I understand that Argonne does it, and I think there's probably some others. If you do not know about Zoom, Zoom is, if perchance, a teacher is going to be out for a number of days, then our wonderful technology, thank you, Frankie, can set up a computer in using the smart boards that we have, which are not called smart boards anymore. And that the regular teacher can teach it from her classroom and to her class, as well as into another classroom that's a ways away. And the substitute teacher then acts as an aide, which I think is just phenomenal. We don't lose any instruction time, and you've got a teacher that knows the curriculum and is teaching it the way it needs to be taught. So whoever came up with that is just, was that one of your ideas? Okay.
Yes. Mine and Don's.
Not yours and Don's. Yeah, right. Okay. But it's just a great way to teach competency. On my last visit was to Aragon Middle School, who I think have finally recovered from Mr. Ryan's substitute teaching day. Dr. Melissa Bradley was my host and director of instruction at Aragon. Principal Maria Memo was in Austin as she is part of Leadership Academy for Principals. So much innovation and technology being used in all facets of teaching. Students were actively involved in learning with great excitement. And another Cy-Fair grad, the counselor, Stacy Thayer, whom I've known since she was in elementary school, is another product that is back there to work as a counselor and in the administrative team. I'm also excited to see Aragon Theater's department's production of Shrek, which is presented, and I got to watch them work on their first song. And then to join everybody else and going to celebrate Cy-Fair football, I'm just going to tell you, number one, since all three of my sons went to Cy-Fair, that's pretty close to my heart. And to see this come back to the first high school and to win the state is phenomenal. But that's not to take away from the state championships we won in other sports. But what I will say, and that I did see, was while Cy-Fair was pursuing the state championship, I saw marquees across our district that were celebrating Cy-Fair and encouraging them to win. Now that's what I call a community and a one spirit for all of us, is that we may compete, but we're also very supportive of each other. So my talking is over, Tom.
I like to, due to time, I won't go into, but I had the privilege of visiting the schools, Burks Elementary, Stacy Everson, Emmett Elementary, Jessica Hernandez, Post, Tamika Williams, and Postma, Kim Freed. And the highlight of those visits was I read the Polar Express to all the students at Post, and they tell me I did such an outstanding job.
And they invited you back?
Gosh, it was, I thank Tamika Williams for setting it up, and it was quite a wonderful experience. I, too, enjoyed the celebration of Cy-Fair High School. I had 2 children to graduate from Cy-Fair, so glad the Bobcats won state championship. Also, we've set a precedent tonight wearing the Bobcat championship T-shirts. Just want to let all the schools know when you win a state championship, get us the T-shirts. We'll wear them. Okay. All right. We'll now go to the citizen participation portion of our agenda. Patrons who have duly registered per policy BED local may address the board regarding matters of concern or interest to the district other than the character of any student, staff, or board member. I would like to remind the audience and viewers that the comments of the speakers reflect their own positions or opinions. The board may not discuss or act upon any matter that is not listed under the action item portion of the agenda. Therefore, board members may not discuss the comments of speakers. Please understand that a lack of response from a board member does not indicate agreement or approval of the comments. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to address the board. Christine Hartley is our secretary, and she's our designated timekeeper. And we have one speaker tonight, Julie Heineman, and I think, Julie, you know that the drill, green light, and then yellow comes on when there's 30 seconds, and then red concludes your remarks. Thank you.
I need a booster. I need a step. Dr. Ogletree, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. My name is Julie Heineman, and I'm a member of the CFISD Community Leadership Committee. We are a volunteer organization of parents, business people, and retired folks who feel that having a strong, healthy public school district is important to our community for maintaining our property values, ensuring our safety, developing our future workforce, effectively using our tax dollars, and nurturing our children and grandchildren. The school district, as you can see from the board meeting earlier today, is truly the heart of our community. Thank you for recognizing the past leadership of the CLC. Those folks truly do deserve our gratitude and our appreciation for the many hours that they have given to our community. So thank you. As was mentioned earlier, our mission is to learn about how local, state, and federal issues impact the quality of education in Cypher ISD. We share this information with parents, taxpayers, and business owners, enabling them to become more knowledgeable and engaged. And then we communicate with our elected officials, making them aware of the impact of proposed legislation on our community. In our efforts to communicate with our elected officials, we have learned that some of our state representatives and senators are very supportive of public education, and some are not. We picked these people to represent us. We elected them to represent us. We voted for them. Maybe. In the last Republican primary, which actually determined who was ultimately elected to govern the state of Texas, only 650,000 primary Republican voters, or just 2.4% of Texans, decided who would govern a state of 28 million people. Only 2.4% of highly motivated voters decided who would make decisions for the 5.3 million kids who attend public schools. Were you one of those voters? We encourage all Cypher area residents who are eligible to vote to not wait until the general election in November. We encourage all eligible voters to vote in the March 6th primary. Actually, early voting starts on February 20th. The deadline to register to vote or to update your registration if you've moved or you've changed your name or you can't find your card is just around the corner. That's February 5th. You can check your registration by going to votetexas.gov, or you can go to the CLC Facebook page for a link. As was mentioned earlier, I am also available, as are others members of the League of Women Voters, to help you update your voter registration tonight. We can also go to your school or your community group or your department and help register your staff people, your neighbors, your family. We also recognize that educators are citizens too. It's true. As a voting population, educators have not had a good track record for voter turnout. Efforts are being made to encourage teachers to exercise their right and responsibility to vote. Why does this effort make some lawmakers nervous? Because they've not been strong supporters of public education. That's their choice. Our choice is to vote for those candidates who support public schools. So how do you know who supports public schools? Do your research. Search for organizations that are nonpartisan, that provide unbiased research on candidates. Talk to others who have been actively involved in advocating for public education, and vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. We'll now go to the report section of our agenda during the Committee of the Whole meeting on Thursday, January 18, 2018. The board received a report on agenda items 4C, and we will hear agenda items 4A and B tonight. 4A, the administration will provide a report on the board monitoring system. Dr. Henry and Associates.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree, and I believe, Teresa, are you going to give us an introduction to this? Ms. Hall's going to get us started on the board monitoring system.
Dr. Ogletree and Board of Trustees, this evening, each associate will review the goal related to the areas of their responsibility and the target objectives that they have developed for the 17-18 school year. We're bringing this to you a little late for a couple of reasons. One was, with the start of the school year, being so different with Hurricane Harvey, and then we moved into the board election process, and we're making certain that when we ask for input, that we didn't have any changes in the board, which we're very pleased that we did not. So we're bringing this to you this month. You will have an opportunity. This is always a document that can be tweaked and changed and edited throughout the course of the year. So this evening we're just going to briefly review each goal and the target objectives, and then at the end of the presentation by each associate we'll provide the opportunity for you to ask any questions or give us any additional input to the document. So we'll start with Goal 1 and Dr. Macias.
Thank you, Teresa. Good evening. Goal 1 pertains to academic achievement, and the goal states the district will ensure academic performance and achievement levels reflect excellence in learning and attainment of both high expectations and high standards for all students. In Goal 1, we have listed 6 objectives. Objective 1, achieve or exceed state accountability standards, and our target is for all campuses to achieve the MED standard rating. Goal 2 is increase overall performance on STAR 3 to 8 and end-of-year course exams. And I'd like to just quickly remind you for Objective 2 and 3 that early in the year we mentioned that we are looking at this year as being our baseline year with data because there was so much change with the testing the year before. And so the target for Objective 2 is to increase by 1%. And you can see next to it is the evidence that we're going to be using for this information. In this case, it's the state testing vendor. Objective 3 is close the achievement gap by increasing performance on STAR 3 to 8 at end of course in the economically disadvantaged student group. And our target there is to maintain or increase by at least 1%. And again, the data includes the state reporting information as well as reviewing programs that are helping us close the achievement gap, such as Camp Summit and the Algebra Camp. Objective 4 is to increase the graduation rate in all student groups. And we have this as a target to increase by 0.1 to 1% because the different groups are at different levels. Objective 5 is increase the number of industry certifications earned and increase that by 2%. And I will just quickly share with you that this is going to be a part of the accountability system. And the state has actually identified the certifications that they are targeting and looking for. Objective 6 is to increase the number of students enrolled and earning credit in the advanced courses in the economically disadvantaged student group. And that target is increased by 2%. And we should be seeing some nice increases there as we move along with the College Academy. So I will now turn it over to Dr. Stewart for Goal 2.
Thank you, Dr. Macias. So Goal 2 is safe and healthy environments. The district will provide a safe, disciplined, and healthy environment conducive to student learning. So for Goal 2, we have 2 objectives. The first one is to increase the number of students receiving face-to-face instruction by decreasing the overall number of students removed from class. Last year, Dr. Ogletree encouraged us to increase that goal. I think we had 5%, and he encouraged us to increase the goal to 50%. So at the end of the year, we'll be bringing you that data so that we can review what we did in the 16-17 school year. Our second objective is to expand implementation of PBIS to all Cypher campuses. And so we used to have a measurable goal of 90%, and now we just want to have increase. We want to increase that number, and our goal is to have 100% of our campuses at some point PBIS campus. Goal 3 is human capital. The district will recruit, develop, and retain highly qualified and effective personnel reflective of student demographics. The first objective is to implement a recruitment plan focused on recruiting a diverse leadership staff reflective of student demographics. Student Services work jointly with school leadership to review that data and applicants, and we'll be bringing you an annual report at the end of the year. Roy, would you like to comment?
Just what you shared as far as the data. It's something that we definitely have reviewed and look forward to sharing that with you to see how we are moving in the right direction as it relates to the goal that was stated earlier.
Our next objective is to provide a competitive compensation package for all employees. And as you know, we work closely with finance, Stuart and Karen, and I believe that Stuart will bring you more information when he discusses his goals. Our next objective is to research, develop, and implement a plan to improve teacher attendance. And so with that, we work with all of the campuses. In their CPOC plan, they all have incentives to improve attendance. And we saw an example of that today when we awarded the checks for perfect attendance. So at the end of the year, during the annual report, we'll bring you some more specific data about whether or not or how that increased staff attendance for the 16-17 school year. And now I will turn that over to, is it you, Roy? No. So whoever has objective 4. Three. I did 3.
But before you go, Teresa, just trustees, we'll be sending this to you electronically tomorrow. We know you don't have it at your place right now, but we'll get it to you electronically tomorrow.
So objective 4 is next.
Okay. Goal 4 covers communications and community relations, and we have 4 objectives. We did make some slight modifications from last year based on our progress with the marketing campaign and other communication strategies. Objective 1 is to implement a comprehensive marketing plan to increase engagement and support among all CFISD stakeholders. And the real change here is the target and the evidence. We, as you know, have fully developed that plan or now are in the process of implementing it. So our target is to produce the marketing campaign media, which includes the billboards, the social media campaign, and other digital banners that go with that. So that was the slight modification in that objective and target. Objective 2, develop a comprehensive communication plan to enhance and support key messages. And again, with our target to increase awareness of opportunities available to all stakeholders, that is connected to our marketing campaign, but also making certain that throughout every communication tool that we utilize in our district, that we make every effort to really get out our key messages for the opportunity for all. The real message that Dr. Henry really speaks to all the time about the opportunities that we have available that other folks may not necessarily know about. You know, there's lots of publicity and lots of exposure with our athletic events and many of our fine arts events, but we're talking about other things that may not get the same level of coverage and recognition, of making sure that we include that in our employee connection and our community connection, and really being thoughtful and purposeful about that. So that is the communication plan that we're talking about there, because I do think we do a great job of getting out press releases and all those things, so we're taking that to a different level. On Objective 3, expand the use of the district's mass notification system, including the use of the CFISD app. Again, we really continue to try to get more parents signed up and utilizing that mass communication system. This year is a perfect example of how we've really had to utilize that and the benefit that we have received from having a system of that nature, so that we can quickly communicate information out to parents about the closure of schools and the return times for students. And Objective 4, we continue with that. And again, Leslie Francis will be giving you a great presentation tonight about all the efforts and progress that we are making in that area to increase the engagement of parents, businesses, and community members in CFISD. And our target is to always try to increase that by 10%. And that looks in many different ways. The number of volunteers that we have, the number of business partners, sponsorships for our different events, and donations as well. So that covers Goal 4, and I'll now turn it over to Stuart to cover Goal 5 for financial management.
Thank you. Goal 5 for financial management reads that the district will exercise fiscal responsibility to maintain financial strength and provide the financial resources for the educational program and support needs. Goal 5 is, the achievement of Goal 5 is evidenced by the completion of 4 objectives. Objective 1 is to develop and manage an operating budget that reflects the objectives of the district improvement plan, and the target on that is to develop a budget with budgeted revenues equaling budgeted expenditures. As you know, in June of 2017, we did adopt a budget, however, a deficit budget, but we do expect at the end of the year that revenues will exceed our expenditures on that budget. Objective 2 is to maintain an appropriate operating fund balance, the target of which is to maintain a general fund balance of at least 25% of operating expenditures. The 2016-17 fiscal year end presented to you last November discloses a fund balance of 50% of operating expenditures. And so when we present a CAFR to you this coming November in 2018, we expect that it would certainly exceed the 25% target. Objective 3 is to maintain an underlying bond rating from the major bond rating agencies, Standards & Poor's and Moody's. The target objective is for Moody's to maintain or affirm our AA1 rating and Standard & Poor's a AA rating. I would say that in connection with our recent $187.5 million series bond sale, those rating agencies did affirm those ratings, and so we have already met that objective. And then objective 4 is to provide funding for facilities, technology, and program needs by selling bonds, and the target is to bond sales according to established timeline and schedule. And again, we did sell in November $187.5 million of new money for those purposes. And so again, that objective has already been met. So with that, I would turn it over to Roy Sprague for Goal 6.
Thank you, Mr. Snow. Goal 6 is related to operations management, and the goal reads, the district will ensure that the facilities adequately support the educational program and other operations. We have a total of 6 objectives listed under this Goal 6 for the various departments we have in this division. Purchasing is our first one, and we would like to achieve the TASBO Award of Merit for Purchasing Operations. And our target would be to satisfy all the required guidelines and complete the application for the award by October of 2018. And one of the things I wanted to point out about this one is this award actually recognizes school districts' achievements in implementing best practices in the area of purchasing, and we certainly feel we have an outstanding purchasing department and certainly would qualify for that award. Transportation, last year's goal was to increase the on-time arrival to 90%, which we were able to achieve. And this year we want to continue to increase the transportation department's on-time arrival performance. And our target is going to be 95% for our goal for this year. In terms of nutrition services, we want to reduce waste and dumpster expense from the use of the styrofoam trays in the cafeteria by installing some additional styrofoam Genie units, which actually do some recycling of these styrofoam trays and actually helps produce paving bricks that can be used in some other materials. Our goal is to reduce that cafeteria disposal volume by 30% at the sites that we have installed. We currently have 4 installed, and our goal this next year is to add 7 additional units as our budget allows to continue on with that program. Our fourth goal is objective is the operations department. We always try to strive for great customer service, and one way to evaluate that is we want to conduct an annual survey of our campuses and our facilities to measure the department performance. And so our goal is to achieve a 95% approval rating of meets or exceeds our expectations or our clients' expectations out there. And then we would conduct that survey sometime in the spring semester. Under facilities planning and construction, as you know, with some of the new facilities, we've been trying to create, and not trying, but we have created 21st century learning environments. And as we continue our building program, we want to continue to emphasize increasing the engagement of our educators and facilities folks and support personnel to continue in that process so we can make sure we design the best possible facilities we can and try to implement some of those features through our renovations that we still have to do in our 2014 bond program. And then the last one we have is maintenance and energy management. It's critical for us to maintain our equipment, our HVAC equipment in optimal condition. So we want to make sure we ensure optimal performance from our HVAC equipment to help reduce our utility costs and conserve energies. And our target would be there basically to increase our completion rate of preventive work orders as well as any other repair work orders in the HVAC department to improve upon. And that will also lead us to utility savings in the district. And with that, I think we'll all be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Dr. O, just before you get started, y'all received this on Thursday, so you might have already had a chance to look at it, but this is just a copy of what you received on Thursday in case you didn't bring it tonight.
All right, board members, are there any questions of any? All right, thank you. We'll now move to the next report, 4B, the oral report on marketing and business relations. Leslie Friends.
Dr. Ogletree, Board of Trustees, and Dr. Henry. Tonight I will provide you with an overview of our marketing and business relations initiatives. In January 2014, as you may remember, the Partners in Education Department was reorganized with a focus on consolidating business partners' interaction with CFISD into one department, creating a one-stop shop for business partner involvement. The department was renamed Community Engagement, and over the last several years, in addition to managing volunteers and donations, Community Engagement has incorporated district advertising as well as the marketing campaign. I will share some of the highlights with you this evening. First, let's talk about the district website on the left-hand side of the screen. The district website received an extreme makeover in the summer of 2014, and more recently, additional modifications were made to the homepage to better highlight district news as well as improve navigation. The revitalization of the intranet, shown on the right-hand side of the screen, and accessible only to our employees, was our most recent project, and as you can see from the photo, was in desperate need of a fresh look. Several weeks ago, a new and improved intranet was launched with a similar look and feel to the district website and much improved functionality. While we are on the topic of websites, I wanted to point out where community flyers can be found. Though the approval process of community flyers has not changed in the last couple of years, the method of sending out paper flyers in students' take-home folders was replaced with an electronic flyer version on the district and school websites. The organization of these flyers, as you can see by the image on the right, is by category and allows for a much more streamlined and consistent district approach. CFISD has long been recognized for its excellence in volunteerism, and I am especially proud that in recent years, our quarterly Lunch and Learns for district volunteers now offer Spanish translation. We continue to look for ways to improve our communication with our Spanish-speaking parents. Our mentor program has nearly doubled, of which I attribute this to outstanding social media coverage and offering more convenient and frequent trainings. As Christine mentioned earlier, yesterday we trained 28 new mentors at Second Baptist Church. Our Bus Buddies program experienced an all-time high, representing over 100 businesses and organizations, despite the 2-week delay of school, resulting in a last-minute rescheduling operation. As you know, our school adoptions provide a business and a school an opportunity to partner together, providing countless benefits to both parties. This fall, we have had 5 school adoptions, bringing the total to 55, of which half are faith-based organizations. It is no secret that our business partners in CFISD are second to none. During the 2016-2017 school year, our district and schools recorded nearly $14 million in coupon, cash, and in-kind donations. Examples of exceptional giving were seen at the Back to School Expo in August by Walmart, the Go Noodle sponsorship by Memorial Hermann Cypress, and countless school supply drives. And these are just a few examples. But of course, the most amazing generosity was demonstrated by the volunteerism and donations received during Hurricane Harvey. The most touching part for many were the 1,200 CFISD employees who signed up to volunteer at the Berry Center point of distribution. The photos above shows principals, staff, and district leaders who all gave of their time voluntarily during the days that school was canceled. And then there were the donations. Nearly $500,000 of water, clothing, cleaning supplies, diapers, and bananas, lots of bananas, were received and distributed. Those 1,200 staff members / volunteers learned about pallet jacks and loading docks, but more importantly, they learned how CFISD is for all and how good it feels to give back to our community. Houston showed the nation how to come together during a crisis, but CFISD showed Houston that opportunity is here. Several events throughout the year offer sponsorships for businesses, including the VIPS Appreciation event each May to recognize district volunteers and business partners. This event is made possible by the support of the VIPS Executive Board and our generous sponsors. Sponsorship of the event allows all of the volunteers to attend the luncheon free of charge. The Superintendent's Fun Run is held each spring to raise money for the Cy-Fair Educational Foundation, and it is a great way for our schools and departments to work together for a common cause. Mark your calendars for March 24th and join us to celebrate the 5th anniversary of the Fun Run. While the official launch of the Fun Run will actually take place this Thursday at DLT, we wanted to give you a sneak preview tonight of the new logo. I'd also like to give a special thanks to Cy-Fair Hospital for underwriting this event for the past 4 years, and a shout out to our new underwriter for this year, Memorial Hermann Cypress. Community Engagement now manages all advertising for the district, which includes publications, both stadiums, buses, employee discounts on the intranet, and hotels on the Berry Center website. The advertising revenue for 2016-2017 totaled nearly $450,000. One of the benefits with district-managed advertising is our district retains 100% of the revenue, whereas many districts pay an outside vendor, therefore reducing potential profits. This is a win-win for our business partners in that they recognize their advertising partnership is also an investment back into the district. The revenue earned through advertising is then used to fund our district's marketing campaign. In 2016, the board approved a contract with Freed Agency to create a campaign that would effectively target our empty nesters, pre-nesters, and parents of school-aged children to reinforce the merits of a strong public school district. The Cheer campaign utilized community leaders from faith-based organizations and businesses and students from various schools. The campaign launched in April with ads on our buses, digital banners on various websites, billboards, and a commercial. In June, the social media campaign got underway as graduates took selfies at the Berry Center with the hashtag CFISD Spirit. Throughout the summer and fall, community leaders such as Butch Milks, Julie Heineman, and Amy Lippincott have been featured on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram generating excitement among their peers about CFISD. During our mid-year review with Freed Agency, a couple of findings stood out. In the chart above, you see the digital campaign in the first column. These are ad banners displayed on various websites and targeted to individuals according to zip codes and behaviors. Comcast pre-roll and YouTube pre-roll are both indicators of the number of times people viewed the commercial online, as well as the percentage of those who watched until the end. Notice that the YouTube numbers are lower, which is relative to a younger viewer and one that jumps around to various shorter videos. This is in contrast to a Comcast online viewer watching entire shows and movies. While the marketing agency has done a tremendous job enabling us to jumpstart this campaign and also to effectively and efficiently use district resources, we know there is still much work to be done. The next phase of this campaign this spring will highlight various district programs as well as bond updates. In closing, community engagement supports the district by developing and maintaining relationships in the community. A key element is our strong partnership with the Cy-Fair Houston Chamber of Commerce. Through volunteerism and school adoptions, advertising, and a marketing campaign, there is no doubt we have lots to cheer about in CFISD. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you my very talented team. Jennifer Ongoko, Digital Content Coordinator, who manages our district and school websites. Brittany Gutierrez, Marketing and Business Relations Specialist, who assists me in our day-to-day operations. Gabby Posas, my assistant, who is often the first face and voice for CFISD for a business partner. And an extension of our team is the Communication Department, which provides instrumental assistance with graphics, social media, video, photos, translations, and more than anything, cheerleading. At this time, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, board members, any questions? Christine?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, Leslie. This was a fabulous report. Y'all have done such an amazing job. I remember when we were just talking about changing the website and going to meetings, and we were plotting what would go under what link and what were the different headings should be, and the website is wonderful. I had one question about the community flyers. It's so nice as a parent and as somebody can go to the website and access all these things. I know we had somebody speak about it. Are some of the schools, there's still paper flyers? Is there a certain amount allowed at the schools?
So our process has not changed regarding that, and only nonprofits are still allowed to post, and posting should all be electronic, not paper flyers.
Okay.
If a school is sending out flyers, it should be flyers just from that school, not from a community nonprofit.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about. And then I just wanted to say kudos to that Go Noodle donation. I use it in my classroom every day. If you don't know Go Noodle, it has indoor recess videos. It has educational videos where the kids are up and they're moving. And you know what? When the rain is here and you're stuck in that classroom all day, you need something that's fun and exciting and gets them moving, but is educational. And Go Noodle is fabulous. So kudos for that donation. That was great. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Christine. Anyone else? All right.
I don't really have a question as much as a comment. I look back at where we were just 5 or 6 years ago, and I've said this before to you, Leslie, I'm amazed at what y'all have done. And then you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 or 4 people that are doing this, and we have made great strides in our communication and our business partners. I mean, it just blows me away. The only thing I wish you would have done is shown where we were about 5 or 6 years ago, and then where we are today. Because y'all have just done, I'm speechless, y'all have done a remarkable job. Truly a remarkable job.
Thanks to the entire team.
And yes, to the entire team. And it's nice. I went in there I had to speak to some scouts. It's nice to have Gabby be the one that meets you. She does a great job representing the district, so Gabby, thank you for that. But really, you guys have gone above and beyond. And it relates to literally millions of dollars that you're saving our taxpayers. And so thank you so much.
All right, Tom.
I would echo the comments that Don has made. Truly remarkable progress. You have taken this concept to an entirely new level. I thought your predecessor had done a fine job, but what you have done is almost Herculean. The community engagement ties the district together. It shows in the number of school adoptions. That's true community engagement, the fact that we have so much of the faith-based community supporting the school district is a tribute not only to the work that you do, but also to the work that is done at the campus level, but also at the central admin level. It doesn't work in a vacuum. Your work is truly credible, but if you didn't have a strong foundation to stand on, it just wouldn't happen. More than that, I'm a firm believer that the concept of engagement and marketing is critical now and will continue to be as the forces ally against public education. We are in a business. It is most appropriate to pursue these avenues. So thank you for all the work that you and your team are doing. Truly wonderful.
Bob?
Just one thing, Leslie, and that's what you did right after Harvey. I can't even tell you the spirit that I felt about this school district. And when I walked in and saw what was going on and the clothing that was being furnished to people that were seriously in need, it was just beyond. And I think one of the statements was that people needed to know that are in the legislative body in the state of Texas that when people are hurting, they go to schools. And that was proven right after Harvey. So thank you for what you do, what you've done awesomely on everything. I love the mentorship. I love being a bus buddy. I absolutely think that's hilarious and fun. And I can tell you, one of the first years I did it was a kindergartner. I told you he fell asleep against me. He's in the 4th grade now. And I just love seeing that kid. So thank you very much.
I also want to point out the efforts after Hurricane Harvey were on behalf of lots and lots and lots of people. As I pointed out in the presentation, there were 1,200 district volunteers who were with us literally round the clock. So it was truly a team effort.
All right. Debbie?
Leslie, I want to thank you too for taking that department just to new heights. You've expanded it. You've just developed such great programs. The marketing program, I think, has been amazing. We're getting the word out there, what public education is all about. And every time I pass one of our billboards, I feel a real sense of pride that this is, our school district, and we are reaching out and communicating our message to the entire community and using all the different mediums to reach people. When I look at all the tweets, oh my goodness, that takes so much time and effort. I know on a number of people's parts, including Mr. Wickerly over there, but the different campuses are doing such a great job as well, and Dr. Henry really knows how to tweet. So, that's the importance in anything, is getting your message out. And through community engagement, you and your department and other personnel have done a great job of doing just that. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Dr. Henry.
Just one quick comment. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to have the opportunity speak to a panel in Houston that Representative Roberts asked me to speak at during, and it's all about the efforts of our local community. And one of the things that we said, we don't want to wait on FEMA or the Red Cross. I mean, it's our responsibility to take care of each other. And of course, Leslie and so many others were a huge part of that. But it really is, and I've said this over and over the last 5 months, when tragedy strikes like that, people don't turn to their private school, they don't turn to their charter school, they turn to their public school, and they turn to their faith-based community. And the faith-based community stepped up just like the school district did. And it although it was a lot of work, it wasn't work because it's our kids and it's our families, and we wanted to take care of them. And then going back to the marketing campaign, the idea is we've been told that education is a commodity, that children are a commodity. Now, don't believe that. I don't believe that at all. But we have to make sure that parents know that the most opportunities, the best trained teachers and staff are in their local public schools. And even among public schools, we're tops. So we have to make sure that people know that, so they don't get fooled by some fancy flyer they receive in a mail by maybe a school that picks and chooses their students, when we take them all. So we not only take them all, we want them all, no matter what their issues or no matter what their talents may be. So if they want us to compete, by God, we're going to compete and we're going to win because we have the best product.
Thank you, Leslie. Outstanding. We posted for tonight was a public hearing, and the board will now recess so that a public hearing may be held. There were forms for any patron to address the board regarding matters of concern or interest concerning agenda item 5A. In conjunction with the hearing, the administration will present an oral report. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes, and I don't believe we had anyone sign up, so we'll go to 5A. The board will hold a public hearing to discuss the 2016-2017 annual report describing educational performance of the district and of each campus in the district. Linda
Thank you,
Macias
Dr.
and Ashley.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree. The Texas Education Code requires each district's Board of Trustees to publish an annual report that includes the district's accreditation status, the Texas Academic Performance Report, known as the TAPER, campus performance objectives, information received from the Texas Higher Education Coordinating Board, PEIMS financial standard reports, and a report of violent or criminal incidents. This presentation contains a small sampling of what you find in the TAPER report, and most of these data may not be new to you. However, the release of the report and this public hearing are a requirement, and it also provides an opportunity to share with our viewers and the community at large information regarding our students' progress. Dr. Ashley Claiborne will continue with the report.
We will begin the public hearing with data taken directly from the Texas Academic Performance Report, also known as the TAPER. This report contains a variety of testing, demographic, personnel, and financial information for the district, as well as all campuses in the district. The board and the public may access these data via the Cyfair ISD website by following the display on the screen. Yearly, the Commissioner of Education determines the accreditation status of each school district. Accreditation statuses are based on districts meeting specific academic and financial standards. For the 16-17 school year, Cyfair ISD was an accredited school district. Before you now are data on the district's demographic trends. The student groups represented in the column to the far left include African American, Hispanic, white, and economically disadvantaged. As in the past years, these data represent the fact that Cyfair continues to grow in size and remain a diverse school district. When reviewing the TAPER report, the first few pages display the State of Texas Assessment of Academic Readiness, also known as STAR data. I would like to remind the board and the viewing audience of several changes made to the STAR for the 16-17 school year. The number of questions on the assessments in grades 3 through 8 were reduced. The English 1 and 2 end-of-course exams no longer contained short answer questions. Changes in the Algebra 1 curriculum were incorporated into the Algebra 1 end-of-course assessments. The STAR accommodated and STAR with linguistic accommodations in math, science, and social studies were eliminated as separate assessments. The state only provided one STAR assessment with embedded online accommodations. Additionally, accommodations policies were revised. It is important to note that STAR data in the 2016-17 TAPER should be considered a comparison between green apples and red apples. Data from 2015-16 and 2016-17 are not 100% equivalent comparisons due to the aforementioned changes in the 16-17 school year. For this reason, as Dr. Macias previously stated, Cyfair considers the 16-17 data as our baseline for all comparisons moving forward. I would also like to provide the board and the viewing audience an additional reminder regarding the STAR standards. Beginning with the 2016-17 school year, Commissioner Morath renamed the standards to Approaches Grade Level, Meets Grade Level, and Master's Grade Level. Performance at the Approaches Grade Level standard is considered the minimum passing standards for STAR. Students performing at this performance level generally demonstrate the ability to apply the assessed knowledge and skills in familiar context. Students achieving the Meets grade level performance generally demonstrate the ability to think critically and to apply the assessed knowledge and skills in familiar context. Students achieving the highest level of performance, known as master's grade level, generally demonstrate the ability to think critically and apply the assessed knowledge in various contexts, both familiar and unfamiliar. Before you now is a table containing summarized STAR data by content area and student group at the Approaches grade level standard or above. Along the left-hand side of this table, you will see the 5 content areas tested through the STAR program, which include reading, math, writing, science, and social studies. Along the top of the table, you will see data represented for 5 student groups, all African American, Hispanic, white, and economically disadvantaged. These data represent those in the accountability subset and all tests taken by those students combined into one percentage. The passing percentages at this level will always be highest due to the fact that Approaches grade level represents the minimum passing standard. As previously mentioned, the next passing standard is Meets grade level. Along the left-hand side of this table, you will see the 5 content areas tested through the STAR program, and along the top of the table, you will see data representing Cyfair, the state of Texas, and the difference between the two. At the district and campus level, we have a continuous focus on increasing the number of students achieving the Meets grade level performance standard, and we're monitoring progress toward this goal via the Campus Improvement Plan targets and through performance on our local assessments. Additionally, we expect this level of STAR performance to have a greater impact on the accountability system beginning this year and into the future. The highest passing level on STAR is master's grade level. This table is formatted in the same way as the one previously displayed. Just as with the Meets performance level data, we're continually monitoring progress toward increasing performance at the master's level, also through the Campus Improvement Plan targets and through performance on our local assessments. We also expect this level of STAR performance to have a greater impact on the accountability system beginning this year. In addition to STAR data, the taper also provides information on the district's graduation rate. The 4-year graduation rate for grades 9 through 12 in Cyfair ISD is displayed for the class of 2016. The next area we must discuss is related to the campus performance objectives. The campus performance objectives are included in the campus improvement plans and are the driving force behind the performance targets set at the approaches, meets, and master's performance levels, and academic strategies also contained in the campus improvement plans. These strategies are monitored throughout the year and formally evaluated in November, February, and June. The campus performance objectives for each campus and the district may be found by following the path displayed on the screen. Now we will discuss data from the report of 2014-15 high school graduates enrolled in public higher education in fiscal year 2016. The data before you show the number of students in the Higher Education Coordinating Board was able to locate in 4-year public universities, 2-year public colleges, and independent colleges and universities in Texas. These data do not include technical workforce development institutions or entrance into the military. Also shown are non-trackable graduates, those with non-standard ID numbers that cannot be matched to student identifiers at Texas higher education institutions. Not found graduates have standard ID numbers but were not located in fiscal year 2016 at Texas higher education institutions. They may have enrolled in higher education outside of Texas. Our final set of data are taken from the annual report on violence and violence prevention. The Cypress-Fairbanks ISD rate of infractions for the 16-17 school year was 0.009, with a student population of 114,633. This statistic includes only data that are correlated to specific TEA discipline action reason codes. Therefore, it does not include every infraction detailed in the Cypress-Fairbanks Local Code of Conduct. This concludes our presentation for the evening. We'd be happy to answer any questions.
All right, board members, Dorothy?
I just wanted to make sure that I understand and that it's clear that on the not found, that's a rather large number. It's 2,300 students. But that's because we're only looking at Texas schools and not schools out of state. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. These data are for only Texas colleges. We have about a 7% rate of students that go to college outside of Texas.
So how does that compare with that number that we have there?
So you would add into the percentage. So for instance, we have, we contract with a company called the National Student Clearinghouse, and they also track our graduates from Cyfair ISD. And so with the National Student Clearinghouse, they've been able to track 73% of our graduates going to college. 66% of those are in-state and 7% of those are out of state. So the two numbers may be a little different when you look at the percentages, but when we look at the data we do have that includes in-state and out-of-state, that's what our percentages look like.
Thank you for that clarification.
Bob?
On the same slide, the non-trackable, and you say that's because we don't have the correct numbers on those? Is that, and so I guess my question is, don't we have like Social Security numbers or something like that for kids that go through our school system?
Social Security numbers are one method of student ID numbers, but we also have something called an S number for students that don't have a Social Security number, for parents that do not want their child's Social Security number to be used. So for whatever reason, there's a mismatch when they use those numbers to look at the colleges in Texas.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
And I just want to say that I feel very confident that our Information Services Department works to keep those numbers those student ID numbers correct so that we are sending accurate information out to our colleges.
Okay.
Tom.
If we take a look at the annual report on violence and violence prevention, page 24 of the board book, I guess this would go over to you, Deborah. We see that the total number of actions increased from 758 to 1,009, which is a 33% increase. So was last year at a low point, because I remembered that it was a reduction from the year before. Is that an anomaly, or is the 1,009 an anomaly? Are we seeing a trend in an increasing rate? Have we seen a continuation of an increase rolling into this year? So if you would, please comment on that.
So I would say that the rate has been on an average between 0.6 and 9 continuously. And so when you take that number that the student enrollment has increased, the overall percentage of students with violent infractions remain less than 1% of the total population. So I would say that we're on a continuum of less than 1% of our students having these violent infractions.
And I think that makes sense to look at it not as a single point estimate, but more as a cap.
Yes.
The fact that y'all work very hard to establish almost like a ceiling. So that makes sense to me. However, if we dig down a little bit and look at the category of assault against school employees or volunteers, which I regard as significant, we had 25 reported and shown in this report. How does that compare to the past, and is that an increase? And once again, are we seeing a trend here, or is it a blip on the radar?
So we hope that it is not a trend, that this is an anomaly. And when you look at the data, one year we had a total of 6. I think that was 2014-15, then a total of 9, and then last year a total of 25. We attribute that to, we have 2 data points or 2 data sets that we have not used in the past, and those 2 data sets is in that 16-17. And then we had 1 campus that had a significantly increase in assaults against staff and volunteers. Speaking with that principal, it was an anomaly for that year. That is not typical. The year before was 0. This year, they're one of the lowest numbers, which is about 3 on that particular campus. So we just think that that year, last year, 16-17, was an oddity. And the principal herself cannot pinpoint what caused that increase. It was actually from 0 the year before to 10 last year. And out of the 10, 1 was from a different campus. Out of the 9 that happened on that campus, they're not connected. They're throughout the year, different students, different reasons. But to be able to pinpoint why there was not a trend or a pattern.
Thank you. Very thorough answer, and thank you for knowing your data and being able to speak to it as well. Switching a little bit, if we take a look at page 9 of the report, which is content mastery, I have spoken to this area each year, and I appreciate the attentiveness of central management. The mastery scores have improved, of course, for the state, Region 4, and district across all subject areas. However, the margin of positive difference for the district compared to the state and Region 4 is still quite significant, and I think, Linda, you and your staff and the principals and other members of central management team are to be congratulated in that area. I'm a firm believer in mastery because once you've mastered the material, you own it for life. If we take a look at page 12 of the report, the annual dropout rate for grades 7 through 8, and compare it between the state Region 4, which are identical to where we are 25% our dropout rate is 75% lower, or it's 25% of what the state in Region 4 happens to be. I know that Sanborn of Children at Risk identified that focusing on the middle was a critical piece of the puzzle, but early on, Mark, you made that as a cornerstone of what you were planning to do. So is this a result of increased attention on the middle?
Mr. Jackson, we believe that certainly is a part of it. We believe that when students are dropping out, it doesn't start at high school. That thought has already begun in middle school. So we have different activities that are focused at reducing this. One of them really is establishing graduation plans, as you know, at the 8th grade. The J Inspire, where kids are exposed to different opportunities that they may have never known about. So certainly we have put more programs into that middle area.
And thank you for addressing that. But clearly, when you have such a tremendous positive difference in numbers, it bears mentioning, and I appreciate you being attuned to the steps that y'all have taken to address that. If we move to page 15, college and career-ready graduates, there's some pieces of the puzzle that don't necessarily completely make sense. First, for the state and the district, both of them are roughly 75%. However, rather, the state and Region 4 are roughly 75%. For the district, it is right at 90%, 89.6% deemed career and college ready by the state of Texas. Last year in that domain, the district was given a B. My looking at the numbers said we either had an A- or an A. 89.6 is tremendous. So first, has that domain gone away? Is the state still paying attention to career and college readiness? If you would briefly comment on that.
I'd be happy to comment on that. The college and career ready graduates, that specific indicator was included last year in the state accountability under Index 4. This year, the state has revised the accountability system, and the information that's contained in this particular indicator is now been rolled over to what's called Domain 1. And so the state is going to be looking at probably about 8 to 10 different indicators that they consider would make a student college and career ready. And we're going to be looking for students to meet at least one of those indicators to give the campus credit for having students college and career ready.
You know, along that line, if we take a look at the report, and let's see if I can find the page. You know, it helps if I print it out at home, but also remember to bring it so I can look it up. This is page number, well, it's 60 on the board book. I can't tell you what. It's page 16 on the report. No, it's page, there it is, went away. Page 15. So for the 89.6, as I said, that's truly remarkable. However, if we take a look at the category called college-ready graduates, these numbers don't make sense. So for ELA, our 46 is slightly less than the state or Region 4. On both subjects, you know, virtually the same. Kind of caught in between state and Region 4. Why are those percentages so much less than the aggregate? And I understand there's more to it than just college ready, college and career ready.
So basically, college ready graduates is looking very specifically at testing information. So to determine college ready graduates, the state is looking for very specific scores on the TSIA assessment, the SAT, or the ACT. So that particular indicator is based on scores on assessments. And then the information on the college and career ready graduates That provides information in addition to just scores on college-ready assessments. It's also looking at those scores, but then it adds to it completing and earning credit for at least 2 advanced or dual credit courses. And it also looks at students enrolling in a coherent sequence of career and technical education courses. So this one's really focusing on college and career, things you could do outside of just college. And then the other one's specifically focusing on assessments, saying students are college ready.
You know, if we take a look at the percentages of acceptable scores on those 3 tests, as well as the participation rates, we'll see that on SAT, our students outperformed the state and the region really by leaps and bounds. But if you compare it to ACT, the numbers are not perhaps where we'd like them to be, but there's also a difference in participation rates. So if you would comment on those disparities, please.
The district provides the ACT to all 11th graders free of charge. The board approved that several years ago, and so we're able to provide our students with that assessment so that they can take it at least once to help them get into college. So the more students we have taking the assessment, sometimes the lower our scores may be. We don't give the SAT for free. Students have to pay for that. So that's why there may be a little disparity in the SAT scores versus the ACT scores.
Another way of looking at how college-ready students are, the state of Texas likes to look, I believe, at those students who have to take remedial courses. As a trustee, I'm cognizant of that. I don't see taking a remedial course as being a failure. I think failure to remediate is the failure. I take a look at it a little differently. As trustees, the commissioner encourages us to look at trends. So if we take a look at our students who went to college from the Texas Higher Ed Coordinating Board, and if we take a look at it from the 2010-2011 period and to the most current reporting period, there's some interesting numbers that pop out. The way I look at it is if any of our students finish with an A average at the end of their freshman year, they're a standout, and if they want to finish college, they can. Furthermore, any of our students who finish the first year of college with a C average or better, to me it says they can finish college if they want to and clearly have the ability. Success in college and graduation is dependent not just on academic matters, but also on social and financial. So I'd like to get your comments and observations. If we look at that chart, we find that in the most current year available and look at it from a trend standpoint. So 5 years ago, only 15% of our students as tracked had an A average. Now it's up to 22, almost verging 22 and a half, and we had half a dozen campuses where it was practically 25%. But if we also take a look at my definition of not being college ready, we see a small decline of 33 down to 29 and a decline of 16 down to 15 for 2- and 4-year campuses. Or another way of saying it is that roughly 85% of our students that attend 4-year colleges are college ready because they finished the first year with a C average or better. And for our 2-year college students, roughly 70% or an increase of 3. But if you would briefly comment on those numbers and anything that I might be missing in taking a look at that detail.
Mr. Jackson, you are correct. We have steadily seen more and more of our kids earning that higher level, that 3.5 or higher. And certainly we hope to see less and less earning that less than 2.0 that you're referring as not being college ready. However, I will share with you, as I mentioned before, that in visiting with the Higher Ed Coordinating Board, that is not the way that they're looking at this data. They're simply letting us know how the students are scoring, their GPA that they're achieving. It's not, they're not looking at that as being college ready, because the students have to be, quote, college ready on an assessment before they ever get into college and start taking a course.
I have spoken with 2 prior superintendents of the greater Harris County area, and I asked each of them, what did they think was a good target of the number of our students going on to college? One of them said 2/3 is about as good as you can get, and another one suggested, well, perhaps you could get as high as 70%. Would you repeat again the number that you found from a different reporting agency as to the number of our students attending college with the most recent data?
Yes, sir. The National Student Clearinghouse, who tracks students across the entire country, they have, I believe it's 98% of all colleges and universities included in what they're looking at. We have 73% of our graduates going on to college. 66% of those are in-state and 7% of those are out-of-state.
I think that's evidence that this district is in fact doing what it is in fact supposed to be doing, and that is producing graduates that are in fact college and career ready. And I believe the hard data does bear that out. A couple of other questions. 5 years ago, and I'm always shameless, I came in here and I had a copy of the Houston Chronicle, and I kind of waved it around in front of the cameras. On the front page of the Houston Chronicle, it heralded the fact that Cyfair ISD was the preeminent district in educating our ESL students, pardon me. Well, that was 5 years ago. I can see some data here, but it doesn't quite tell me how. That article talked about some of the techniques and programs that this district implemented that nobody else had. Dr. Macias at that time said those programs had been in existence. He either said 5 or 10 years, but for a long time period. Some of the districts that were interviewed who did not have a record similar to Cyfair indicated that they were either adopting some of Cyfair's best practices or they were looking at them. 5 years has passed. So are we still a leader in this area of education, or has everybody pretty much caught up, or has everybody passed us?
Mr. Jackson, we actually pulled the Houston Chronicle article and the chart that you're speaking of, and did a comparison of the districts they listed there, and then back in 2010 and 11, and then again compared it with the latest data that we have. First of all, I'll share that in looking at that comparison, we found that we grew by a little over 3% from that time in graduation rates for our ELL students, and we still are up there in the districts with the higher scores as well.
Excellent. Always good to know, and thank you for being data aware. Sometimes these reports, it's a little difficult to dig into the data. I actually contacted the board, and I'm waiting for a return phone call. So thank you for taking care of that. I may never get that return phone call from them. I guess this goes back to you, Dr. Stewart. If you take a look at the report, you see that our class sizes across the board, really in all areas, are larger than they are for Region 4 as well as the state. We are all about academic attainment. Studies have shown that if class size is reduced down to 15-1, you have a positive impact on attainment. What are we doing to attempt to ameliorate the fact that our class sizes in our district are larger than those of surrounding districts and clearly the average across the state.
Well, you're correct that our average class sizes are larger than the state and not significantly larger, though, than our peer districts. For instance, kindergarten is 19.7 for Cyfair, the state 18.8, and our peer districts 19.1. And if you keep in mind that those numbers are lower than the recommended state recommendation of 22-1. So along with these numbers that are very comparable to our peer districts, we offer quite a bit of support to support those classroom teachers. So we are higher than the state and peers, but not significantly, and quite lower than the state recommended average of 22-1. Did I answer your question?
Part A. Part B was, do we have any programs in place that address class size, any special instructional, or not?
So Linda may have to support me on this, but in many of our campuses, we provide additional support for bilingual classes. So our bilingual class average, especially in kindergarten, first pre-K, kindergarten, and first grade, they are approximately 14.7, 15.9, and 16.7, which is quite lower than our peers. So we believe that we provide additional support in those classes to support those students, which may lead to that data when you ask Linda about ESL students and how they are performing. We provide instructional coaches for our teachers to support classroom instruction. And Linda, you want to help me out here?
Mr. Jackson, I believe that I have shared before that we ourselves do our own monitoring of our campuses. We have a monitored school system, and we look at the data and we look at the campuses that are doing okay, because we have no failing schools in the district, but we feel are not at the level that we expect them to be in Cyfair. And so we set aside some state compet funds, and we provide additional positions to those campuses in the form of teachers for class size reduction, as well as additional coaches for interventions.
Thank you. A question that I asked last year, and I'll ask it again. For the TSI test, that may not be the complete alphabet. Our participation rate is much lower than that of the state. Is there any benefit in trying to increase that participation rate? Because I think that can be taken as early as, say, freshman or sophomore year.
Mr. Jackson, the reason why you see our TSI score lower is because, again, as Dr. Claiborne shared, we provide the ACT to every single student. At the 11th grade, at the 10th grade, we provide the ACT Aspire as well. I will share with you that you're probably going to see that the TSI numbers creeping up as we move forward with our college academy, because we're providing the assessment to our kids at an earlier age, as ninth graders actually, at least part of it, to make sure they're college ready so they can start taking the dual credit courses.
You know, I certainly like that idea. Certainly that was something that I saw at many different places through Leadership CASB as we toured the state. And I'm certainly supportive of the concept of having that test given perhaps as early as freshmen. I think it helps parents to be aware where their children are in terms of moving forth. And if you take it as a freshman, you have 4 years to make up ground if you think you need to make up ground. So, not to be snarky, but Bob, I will stop talking now. And thank you for a very good, thorough report.
All right. Any other questions? Yes, David.
I have two questions for Ms. Stewart. or for Dr. Stewart, I'm sorry. I certainly, and I'll preface it by saying I certainly do hope the increase in violence is an anomaly and not something that will be a trend going forward. Do we know if the increase in numbers, if any of that is attributable to maybe increased gang activity?
At that one campus that had the increase of 10, we do not believe that that's the case.
Okay. Then my second question, while I certainly do believe in trying to keep the students in the classroom for face-to-face instruction, could this increase in numbers at this one campus then be attributable to perhaps problems with students who have tendencies towards violence or not being intervened soon enough? Does that make sense?
It does. What we believe is that when you take that one particular campus, we have other campuses with that same demographics and student population, and those numbers did not show that kind of increase.
Okay.
And those infractions did not happen in the classroom. They just had an unusual increase in number of fisticuffs at the school, which may have involved teachers trying to break it up.
Okay. Okay.
But again, that principal could not identify a pattern.
Okay. Okay. And was it all on campus or was perhaps some of it off campus?
All on campus.
All on campus. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. Our class sizes are controlled also by our revenue. Isn't that correct? Don't we monitor that as to how many teachers each school gets, and if we were better resourced, we could in some instances have more teachers, right?
That's a great point, Dr. Ogletree. Obviously, we look at that, and we work very closely with Dr. Stewart and her team during the budget deliberation process to determine, first of all, we do that on looking at our revenues, projected revenue sources, and then trying to develop a budget to help match that. And obviously, staffing is a very, very significant part of that. Well over 86% of our operating budget is tied up in people. So, and primarily on the campus level. So that is a very accurate statement that it really kind of depends on what our revenue levels are. And of course, we have been traditionally underfunded as compared with our neighboring districts and other districts across the state. Off the top of my head, anywhere from $200 per student upwards to $1,000 per student that we receive less in total funding than those other school districts.
Just to add a little bit of information to Stewart's numbers also, along with Katy ISD, we have the lowest administrative costs in the state. So again, that's partly due to our efficiency and partly due to available dollars. So
well, what that says is that we're putting our money in the classroom and not on administration.
Yeah, and I forgot what that figure is, but it's like 69%, I believe, goes towards instruction, which is several percentage points higher than anyone else that I'm aware of.
Correct. Yes.
You say Katie was the same as us? Administrative.
I think when we're looking at any of this data and these numbers, we always have to keep that in consideration, is our being underfunded. So we've been doing well, not to say that we can't strive to get improve, but we have to keep that fact in mind. Yes, Tom?
A follow-up question, if I may, Dr. Ogletree.
This is just one question.
John, I never have just one question.
Okay,
So may I proceed? Thank you, sir. John, you and Stuart talked about funding. I'm reminded of the fact that the governor has proposed a bit of a revenue cap as it impacts on property taxes. If enacted, will that have a deleterious effect on the revenue for this district and class sizes?
Could be significant. Yeah, I thought I was going to get off scot-free tonight, but especially when we're talking about academic achievement. Yes, the governor has proposed his tax policy that would, I guess, provide a 2.5% revenue cap on operations. And I mean, if you take 2.5% and look at our budget for 2017-18, that would account for about $10 million of revenue that we would not be able to achieve if you compared that with what we had budgeted for 17-18. So that's a very significant amount of money that would greatly impact what we can spend in the classroom and particularly on our teachers.
Thank you. If I recall reading in the newspaper, there was some comment that that would be offset by state funding. Is that what I read?
Well, there is a statement made in his policy that provides a caveat, I guess, or a warning to other legislators that the 2.5% revenue cap would certainly have to be offset for those school districts in particular because of the loss of revenue that the state would have to pick up. A portion of that revenue loss for school districts to hold them harmless. Of course, we've all heard that before in past legislative actions, and it's never come true to a full extent. So I'm a little wary of, particularly with the state's budget as it stands with the last biennium and the projections for this upcoming biennium. The state doesn't have enough money to fund us completely as it is, not only public education, but health and human services and other Medicare and other areas. So I would be a little skeptical about being able to be held harmless on the loss of tax revenue as proposed by the governor.
It certainly seems to be quite serious. Thank you.
I agree with you, Stuart. I think the governor also said no more unfunded mandates.
That's correct.
We'll believe that when we see it. Let's also, during the course of the Committee of Health, thank you for the report, Linda and Dr. Clayton. Thank you. We'll go to the action items portion of our agenda. Also, during the course of the Committee of the Whole meeting, it was consensus of the board that the following action items be approved as submitted or amended. 6B, the board will consider approving the minutes of the December 7, 2017 special call meeting. And also, C, the board will consider approving the minutes of the December 11, 2017 regular meeting. On Thursday, the following non-consensus items were placed on the consensus agenda. Item 7A, the board will consider awarding bids and contracts and or authorizing purchase orders as recommended in the posted agenda item. 1, emergency generator repair service and preventative maintenance. 2, portable building removal and relocation. 3, portable building tie-down, anchor removal and installation. Also, 7B, the board will consider approving the calendar committee's recommendation for the 2018-2019 instructional calendar. Also, item 7C, the board will consider approving the first reading, additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, BBE local board members authority as revised. C, CKC Local Safety Program Risk Management Emergency Plans is revised. 3, FD Local Admissions revised. And 4, GBAA Local Information Access Request for Information revised. Also, 7D, the board will consider approving the construction proposals and contracts paid from the 2014 bond funds to the recommended contractor and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contracts as follows. And that was 1, Langham Creek High School renovations. E, the board will consider approving the use of local government purchasing cooperative by board contract 476-15 as the construction delivery method for this project, awarding the construction contract to the following contractor and authorize the superintendent or designee to execute all necessary documents related to such contract as follows. 1, under E, 2018 track and football field improvements at Cy Lakes, Cy Park, Cy Ranch, and Cy Woods High School project. 7F, the board will consider approving and authorizing the superintendent or designee to enter into the miscellaneous professional service contracts related to the following projects. 1, Langham Creek High School renovations. 2, 2018 track and field improvements at Cy Lakes, Cy Park, Cy Ranch, and Cy Woods High Schools. If any board wishes to remove one or more items for further discussion, please do so at this time. If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
Mr. President, I move that we approve the consensus items as recommended or amended.
I second.
Okay, thank you, Don and Darcy. Is there any other discussion, anything else? All right, all those in favor, please raise your right hands. It is unanimous, even though Darcy raised her left hand. No, she raised her right hand. I'm just kidding. We'll now go to the action items, consensus. This item 6A was moved to non-consensus, and as the board will consider approving the tax refunds of $500 or greater for Cypress-Fairbanks ISD. And on Thursday, one of these refunds is due one of our board members, Tom, and he said he would recuse himself from voting on this item. Okay, may I have a motion?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the report for CFISD tax refunds of $500 or greater in the amount of $86,713.06.
Is there a second? Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Bob. All those in favor, would you please raise your right hands? Thank you. All right. We had addendum to our agenda tonight. 9A, the board will consider approving on dual reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies. 1, DEA local compensation and benefits compensation plan. This is a revision. And 2, DEC local compensation and benefits leaves and absences. This is also a revision. May I have a motion on this?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve on dual reading additions, revisions, or deletions to district policies, DEA local compensation and benefits, compensation plan revised, DEC local compensation and benefits, leaves and absences revised.
Thank you, Don and Christine. Is there any discussion? All right, all those in favor, would you please raise your right hands? It is unanimous. We'll now go to the superintendent's briefing portion of the agenda. Dr. Henry will make comments and provide information on the following topics.
Thank you, Dr. Ogletree, and I'll read as quickly as I can this evening. But first of all, we in an evening we're talking about championship football teams. We do have in attendance tonight, we have Tony Heath, who won the 2010 state championship as head coach of the Pearland Oilers. So we're glad he's here this evening. He retired and is representing a new employer. So thanks for being here. The 8th Annual Houston Methodist Cy Hoops Invitational was held in December, and we would like to thank all of our corporate sponsors, along with our title sponsor, Houston Methodist Hospital, for their support in making this tournament a success. CFISD teams face some of the top competition in the state. January is designated as National Mentoring Month. This January marks the 3rd year of Mentor's public awareness and recruitment campaign, In Real Life. In Real Life focuses on the real-life benefits of mentoring to young people, as well as the life-changing stories shared by mentors themselves. Mentoring can make such a difference in the lives of students struggling with academics, personal issues, and staying in school. We would like to thank all our CFISD mentors for making such a difference in the lives of these students. If you would like to become a CFISD mentor, please go to www.cfisd.net/mentor. The Cy-Fair Educational Foundation will present Salute to Our Heroes on Saturday, February 3rd at Omni Houston Hotel Westside. Doors will open at 6 p.m. for the VIP event. The main event begins at 7 p.m. This event honors the brave men and women who are serving or have served to preserve our freedom and liberty. Proceeds will create an endowment in the memory of fallen soldiers, which will be used for college scholarships for CFISD students. For more information or to purchase tickets, contact Marie Holmes at the Cy-Fair Educational Foundation at 281-370-0144 or go to the www.thecfef.org. On Monday, February 5th, we will honor 134 students at the Berry Center who have been recognized by the National Merit and National Hispanic Scholars Program. I look forward to this special event to honor the achievements of academic excellence. This program will be broadcast live on our website, www.cfisd.net, and replayed throughout February and March. We will honor our school counselors the week of February 5th. For National School Counseling Week, National School Counseling Week highlights the tremendous impact school counselors can have in helping students achieve school success and plan for a career. We appreciate their unique contributions. The 24th Annual Cy-Fair ISD Livestock Show and Sale will be held February 8th through 10th at the CFISD Exhibit Center at 11206 Telge Road. The graphic, which is being shown on your screen, is also available on our website, showing the times and designated animals for the livestock judging. The freezer sale and silent auction will be held on February 10th at 10 a.m. at the Exhibit Center. Then beginning at 1 p.m., the live auction will be held. The buyer's luncheon will also be held on February 10th at Arnold Middle School at 11 a.m. We would like to invite everyone to attend and support our students who have been working diligently for months in preparation for the show and sale. We are very proud of these dedicated students who raised over $800,000 last year due to generous corporate and individual participation in this sale. Thank you, Dr. Ogletree.
All right. We've come to the conclusion of our agenda for tonight, and we could go into closed session if you all want to stay here a little longer. No, okay, we won't. All right, our meeting is adjourned. Thank you for attending and watching our board meeting. Bless you.